Lima surprised me more than any other place we visited in Peru. We'd been there before, but this time we stayed in Barranco, which is kind of an artsy district just south of Miraflores, where we had stayed before. We knew we were going to get good food in Lima, but we did not expect to learn to surf. And we knew we were going to stay in an artist house, but we didn't know just how immersive that experience would be. We stayed in the most unique B&B, Second Home Peru. I'd found this on booking.com, and I knew it was the former home and the current studio of artist Victor Delfin, who is a famous Peruvian sculptor and artist. But what I didn't realize is you were just going to be immersed in his artwork. And although the house looks like it's just a typical manor, the complex kind of scrambles down the hill with all these artist studios they've converted to guest rooms. They all have tremendous views of the ocean. It was really the coolest place we've ever stayed. So it's a hotel / art gallery museum.
This is our room in Lima for the last couple of nights. It's probably hard to capture, but it's got the most amazing view. I will. Surfers over there surfing. Right over an artist studio. That's some art. That's his patio. And if we turn around, there's Elizabeth in the bathroom. Just wanted to record a few seconds of video of the view out of our balcony. Sometimes these big vultures fly by.
Yeah, so in addition to all the human-created art, there were vultures everywhere in this neighborhood. And so I know that could seem a little bit macabre, but it really just felt like somehow the issues of life and death and ultimate meaning were all condensed in this one spot. Okay, so we got our second room at this wonderful hotel, and this one comes with a hammock. How fun is that? And a bigger porch. Just so pretty. Just down the street from the hotel, there was a small art gallery that we wandered into on our first day. And this would eventually lead to the highlight of our trip, where Randy finally gets to surf. But I'll explain more about that later. In a pretty little park near our hotel, there were vulture sculptures, and one of the strangest things I've ever seen, actually, a half-restored, half-derelict church with live vultures roosting in the rafters. Walking around here really was like being in some cutting-edge art piece about life and death and resurrection.
It's a bit of a mystery.
But it was all just part of the life of the neighborhood.
Buzzards all over it. The vault is open to the sky, but the front facade is beautifully preserved and painted. We don't really know what's going on. It's really strange.
So we really loved funky little Barranco. We found a cafe near us for lunch, and then we visited the Museum of Electricity. We thought the museum was fun and interesting. If you're in the neighborhood, I think it's worth a stop, especially if you have kids and you like for them to see educational things. Like everybody else, we loved the food we had in Lima. And it's not hard to find good food. The places we ate in our neighborhood, we just based on Google reviews and the fact they had gluten-free food. So we loved that cute little Bodega Verde that we found. And then we ate lunch one day in a restaurant just down the street from our B&B that turns out to be well regarded and people got out of their way to eat there. And we just lucked out when we found it. But it had great kind of homey, stick-to-your-ribs food. Our first night there, we had reservations at Lima up in San Isidro, which is a residential area just north of Miraflores. This restaurant specializes in inventive ways to serve superfoods, which we did need because we had a big day coming the next day.
Morning. We are going to surf with some very cool people that are way out of our league. Yeah. So.
What a beautiful day. I am shocked we have such beautiful weather today. Can't believe we're doing this.
It's because she said, I'll go if you go.
That is why.
Yep.
So what Randy's talking about here is that when we dropped into that little gallery near our B&B, he was admiring some paintings of surfing. And it turned out this young guy playing a guitar in the gallery was the artist, Stefano Bermillon. And there was a young woman with him. We thought she was his girlfriend. Turned out she was just a tourist who just showed up too, named Layla from Canada. And Stefano had a friend who's a surf instructor. So before I knew it, the four of us had surf lessons scheduled the next day. So full disclosure, I went along, but I've never really wanted to learn to surf, and I didn't try very hard. But it was fun for Randy and the other two.
And we didn't bring the GoPro, so we can't get any shots in the water, only with my phone, and I didn't bring the camera. So only with my phone. And that's sad because he is surfing. I saw him right away, but I was out there in the water when I saw it.
So knowing nothing about surfing, I was very impressed with the waves in Lima, and there were a lot of surfers out. All right, so would you recommend Lima for someone who wants to learn to surf?
Definitely. Waves are coming in constantly, and it's not expensive at all. And it's not very crowded, at least, of course, we're in the winter, but...
Yeah. So how much was it for us? 40 piece? $40?
Yeah.
Yeah,
$40
roughly.
piece.
It's not 120
For
soles.
about an hour and a half or so, 2 hours, something like that. Yeah.
It is all in Spanish.
Yeah, that would have been better if there had been more English. But still, I think I got the idea. So,
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it comes.
All right, so much more my speed was a walk we took from Barranco into Miraflores along the Malecón. Lima has such a beautiful waterfront, which I don't remember much about at all from before. But this time, I was very impressed. We passed the Mafalda statue. She's kind of like the Charlie Brown of Latin America. There's a very touching memorial for all the healthcare workers that died during the COVID pandemic. And a charming Paddington Bear statue. Our destination was Parque del Amor because the centerpiece sculpture in this park is by Victor Delfin. We ate lunch at a restaurant called Mango's in Larcomar, which is a mall right on the waterfront. When our kids were little, we ate at Mango's quite a few times on our first visit to Peru, so it was sort of sentimental for us. But since we were in one of the food capitals of the world, we had one night at a very nice restaurant, Astrid y Gaston. I chose this over the other famous Peruvian restaurants because I wanted to see the restored manor house, and it was beautiful, so I'm glad we went there. We enjoyed a wonderful evening. I didn't film any of it because we were just enjoying the night. We'd actually spent a little more time with Layla and Stefano. They'd come by the B&B. We'd encourage them to come so they could see all the cool artwork. And then we took an Uber into central Lima to see the historic district. I really wanted to see the catacombs of the Franciscan church and monastery. And getting there was kind of stressful because we were trying to get to the last English language tour of the day. I enjoyed hearing the sounds and seeing the sights of kind of everyday Lima, but by this point I was getting really stressed out about the fact we weren't there yet. So we had a bit of a walk to get to the church, but we did make it. And looking back at this footage, I really wish I would learn to relax more and not worry. Things are going to work out like they're going to work out. Like most churches in Lima, they wouldn't let me do any filming in the church and in the catacombs either. And I understand the part with the catacombs, but I do wish they'd let you film in the churches. After we toured the catacombs, which by the way did go with the whole theme of life and death in Lima, we walked around the main plaza. This plaza goes back to the founding of Lima by the Spanish in 1535, and it's still the seat of the Peruvian government. The night we were there was a lot of security around that main Plaza de Armas, Plaza Mayor. I think there'd been some protests recently, so they still had a pretty strong presence. And really, I felt safe even though it was getting dark. All through this area was pretty heavily touristed.
Get all the buzzwords on that one.
Yeah.
Pretty straight.
We had to go a little ways to find a place where we could wait for an Uber that would take us to dinner. And it was from the old Spanish colonial city back through modern Lima and then to our B&B and our last night there. We were leaving in the middle of the night. I think our flight left at 3, but we kept the room so we could take a quick nap before we had to go to the airport. When we'd been to Lima in 2011, we still had young kids, and so we went to the magic fountains.
Take a little bit of video.
We went to the zoo. And I remember mostly it was gray and there was a lot of crazy traffic. I thought of Lima as kind of a way station between the other places in Peru. But this time, we both absolutely loved our time in Lima. And I can't wait to go back. I'd go back for a weekend, I'd go back for a week, I'd go back for a month probably. But that was the end of our trip to Peru. We were headed home and for a very different adventure almost right away. Thanks for watching.